Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk, thinking right out here in the lab. What I do for you. I got to piggyback up the last lesson I was doing. I ran out of space, so I had to make some room. Technical difficulties. So here we go. Let's do what we do. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. The message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tune and receive now. We got a good thing going. You know what we do. Let's rock. Right thinking mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is to get all right thinkers to know themselves. I got the lessons, information to do just that. That's why I do what I do for you daily. All you got to do, put your work into, and you get to know you. That's my main goal. To get you, right thinkers, to know themselves. All right, I asked the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I'll help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. A person who knows, foolish, disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got something for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right? Thinkers, know thyself. And to my eye, be true. Before I got cut off, we was talking about the tenets, the major tenets of the Vedanta philosophy. That's what we are talking about, the Vedanta philosophy. I was at 4 where it says Brahman is pure consciousness. We say the same thing. All that exists is essentially Brahman. We say pretty much the same thing. They say Sat Chit Ananda. It means Chat is existence. Chit is knowledge. Ananda is bliss. God gives these things existence. God is conscious of those things. Therefore, they exist. Everything is from the mentality of God. I just gave you a lesson that God is like a dream state. We live in it because God can see dream in a dream. Okay. That means we're inside his dream. He's dreaming. Whatever he dreamed brings it to reality. That's the power that he has. And as God gives what? Bliss to what? The experience of living. When you reach that level of knowledge and becoming one with God, that's bliss. Whether you be Christian, Muslim, or Jew. When you get it, you understand it, you know it for yourself. So it don't make a difference what religion you profess. The idea is to get it. Moving on. Brahman, the mind, body, and senses of human beings are illusions. The mind, body, and senses of the human beings are illusions, according to the Vedas. Watch this. The essence of everything in the universe, including your human soul, spirit that's in us, is what? Pure consciousness, like P-Funk. Even though objects appear real, tangible, and permanent, it is, in reality, transient and illusory. That means we live in the matrix. We live in a holographic world where things that seem real is not. They take everything in what is seen. So get the understanding. Native Americans said, this is the dream world. When we go to sleep, that's the real world. Why? Because we don't have the physical body. When the next level, we don't need the physical body. So this concept. Moving on. Where we at? Now, Brahman, watch this, is the world. And he also assumes what? The role, watch this, of millions of individual life forms. People, animals, insects, etc. The individual soul is termed Atman. We say Amen, they say Atman. I'm just saying. Atman and Brahman, here you go, are one and the same. Amen, Rapta, one and the same. And therefore, everyone's soul is what? Part of the universal essence, Brahman. Sounds like Egyptian stuff to me. Therefore, what's this? Through a veil, here you go. I just gave this lesson. The veil of ignorance is what? When the individual soul, the Atman, believes it's an individual, it becomes egoistic. It's lost in its own self. What's this? There exists an individual entity. They call that Yava, Jiva, right? Yava, separate from what? Everything else. We call it ego. It is indeed part of everything. It just don't know it. Sounds like amnesia, lack of knowledge, ignorant, whatever you want to call it, but that is the problem. Same thing with the Vedas. Watch this. Now, the mental veil of ignorance comes from what? You ready? Erroneous subconscious impressions, which what? Which cause you, the person, to what? Believe you are a body instead of what? A spiritual being, which I keep trying to tell my right thinkers. We are spiritual beings having human experience. They're telling you the same thing. But when you don't know that, you think it's just you. That's again the ego self. What's this? They are a body instead of a spirit. And therefore what? They search for physical happiness and fulfillment in what? The illusionary pleasures of the world. Chasing the dream, that proverbial carrot that you'll never get. This leads one, watch this, from one unfulfilled desire to another, aka reincarnating over and over again. If you think you're going to get something different from the same action, you are crazy. Break the cycle, become knowledgeable, gain self-knowledge. That's how you stop the cycle of rebirth and death, aka reincarnation. Moving on, number 9. Vedanta seeks to transform, listen, the subconscious of you, the individual, through what? Through gradual increasing philosophical and practical discipline. I'd say that spiritual discipline when daily. Put it in your normal life. Get better at it, aka master it. They telling you the same thing. And what is this? It's a goal. Its goal, right thing, a goal, just like this, is to what? Remove the veil of ignorance. Bam. By what? How could you remove the veil of ignorance? By asserting that the only reality is Brahman. This is the Vedas. This is the Vedanta. When this reality is consciously realized, becoming awakened, understanding by what? Intuition through what? Meditative experience. The only way you can get clarity and understanding, commune with your higher self, is through meditation. The veil of ignorance is now what? Lifted. And once the veil of what? Ignorance is now removed, you, the initiate, right thinking, sups in what? In a transformed psychological and spiritual state where what? Now you abide in what? The real universe, omnipresent, your expansive state of what? Consciousness turned what? Yava Makta, which means what? What is this? One who is liberated while still alive. That's the idea, right there, of philosophy, to get you to God while you're still alive. So, sorry about that. I get excited. Now you got Yavan Makta is an individual, what? Who has a right thinker, like this, who have sublimated, their what? Their ego sense in favor of what? Becoming one with the absolute reality, knowing thyself. No longer knowing themselves as what? An individual. They are now one with God, aka Brahman. This is the state turned moksha or Paravela, aka definition, liberation, freedom. Nihas, we call it Christhood, whatever you want, but reach enlightenment, become anointed with knowledge of self, knowing God. The term, okay, we cool. The term they use is illusory modification, and can be better understood from what a simile. Let's give you a quick example. That's an example given by the Vedanta philosophy. A person enters a dark room and steps on something which appears to feel like a snake. The person is very scared. Why? Because he believes the information from his senses. The person turns the light on and finds out that what? There's only a rope. You ever did that concept? When you make assumptions based on senses, you could be wrong. That's what they're trying to show you. Watch this. Keep going on. Work with me. I got a message I'm trying to get across. Now, it was due to what? Here we go. Ignorance. Why? While in darkness. That the rope was perceived to be a snake. He conjured up fear. Again, false evidence appearing real. In his mind, it's a snake. No matter where it came from, no matter what. But that's the first thing that comes in your mind. Perception. That's your reaction. Why? You don't know, but you make assumptions. Assumptions are never right. Okay, he said, "What big ass out of you and me," and that's on point about that. But watch this. But he perceived to be a snake. Okay, now in the same way, it is our ignorance, being in the dark, about what our true nature. We don't have a clue. We just guessing, just throw stuff up against the wall, see what sticks, so to speak. Get understanding, cut the light on. Watch this. We're ignorant about our true nature. Sorry about that, but which allows us to what? To perceive the multiplicity of the world as what? Reality. So, the objects of the world are what? Are perceived as separate entities instead of what they truly are, Brahman. The ignorance is what? Based on the information our brains gather from what? The senses, rather than from what they gathered through the higher intuitional capacities of what? Knowing, gathering right information to make a better decision. Don't just haphazardly, what? It might be this. Scare yourself. Okay? They say 90% of our stress comes from what? Manufactured ideas that never really come to fruition. You're your worst enemy. If you can't cool the mind down, stop worrying, get agitated about what could be, what might, or that nonsense, you're your worst enemy. That's what they're trying to explain to you. But watch this. When you get intuitional capacities, that means what? The light represents intuitional wisdom of what? The truth, whereby the question based on our incorrect and ignorant assumptions and ideas that we set forth for ourselves. Question. Where did the snake come from? What kind of snake is it? Whose snake is it belong to? Is the snake poisonous? All that nonsense becomes what? Irrelevant. It's your own mind playing tricks on you. Like the ghetto boys, okay? It's irrelevant. Why? Because in the same way you ask those questions about the origin of the world and humanity, excuse me, the origin, of the world, aka humanity, etc., with your ignorance, become irrelevant. Why? Since time and space and physical reality are what? Are illusions. Only Brahman exists. One sees oneself as Brahman, therefore one sees only oneself in existence. Relatives, people, the sun, planets are what? All part of the oneself. Illusory modification made it seem, watch this. This is what illusion modification makes it seem like there is a multiplicity of different objects in existence when it really only one. Now, the Vedanta philosophy holds that, watch this, their concept is you have 4 planes of existence, and that human beings is really a what? composite of 3 bodies and 5 sheaths or layers, each layer, okay? In this manner, the divine self, Brahman, expresses itself in the form of nature and living human beings. I got covers up there. Moving on. I still got a little time. I got to go down. I got a nice little lesson here. We're gonna get some good stuff. Here you go. Now, according to Vedanta, the planes of existence start out with you call number 1, the gross plane. What's that? That consists of the gross elements and the senses, physical body, humans. Okay. Subtle plane, the little lighter. What that consists of? That consisting of what? Subtle elements that may be perceived through what? Extrasensory perception. Starting to think. The subtle plane, here we go, which is now the intellect. Here, the ego is transcended and one experiences what? Higher forms of being. Raising your conscious level, becoming closer to God. And you had the subtlest plane, and this is the level of the casual body. This is what the Egyptians give you as the dua, the pet and the tie. They break it down that way. I ain't got a problem with that. I hope you understand it. I do, but it's a little, I guess, confusing if you don't understand. But what they tell you, take it from the gross to the spirit, okay? From the physical to the spiritual. Now you got the bodies. That was planes in different planes and levels. Now you're going to deal with the physical body, aka physical body. That's this. The astral body. When we go to sleep, we're in the astral plane. Why? Because we don't need the body. The body's at rest. The mind is still working. The dream state that you go through, you're still functioning. Okay, the heart's still beating. Everything's working, except the body is at rest. So you don't need that body in the astral plane. And when it's all over physically in this body, you either in the astral plane to either go join the casual body, which is Ra, or you go get another physical body, aka reincarnation. But the third level is the casual body. That's where the spirit goes, and that's where it dwells if it makes it with God. That's the concept. Again, even there, same thing. Now let's deal with the 5 sheaths covering under the layers of the body. This is interesting. The first one is food sheath. They call that kosher or Ananda Maya. Don't know what that means. Then the next one is pranic sheath. That's the vital energy, breath to life. I know what that is, prana. Breathe, my man, Ralph Smart. Breathe in that good ass prana. Okay, that's the vital energy force. Again, pranamaya kosher. Then you got mind sheath, manamaya kosher, thinking. Then you got the intellect sheath. That's Vajranamaya kosher, and then you got the bliss. All these are getting to that level of what? Bliss, Hotep, supreme peace, same concept. Watch this. And this is the one that transcends what? The ego and the body and experiences what? Spiritual enlightenment. Now they got that here. It says the 3 bodies and the 5 sheaths may be compared, there you go, to what? The Egyptian belief of the 9 parts of the spirit, including the Ba, or Supreme Soul, when it is considered that the Vedantic system and the India proposes 8 parts plus the Supreme Self, or we know him as the Atman or Brahman, the similarities appear almost exact in theme and in number. But now I got over here a chronological breakdown. First, I'm going to do this last part to this page, another lesson because I see the time. So we're going to do it. The practice of yoga is developed in India when it started 1000 BCE to 100 BCE, and it is classified as what? A science with 8 steps. Their correspondence to what? Egyptian system will become evident. I got the breakdown for you on the other page, but watch this. And it's thousands of years after. Their emitting is spin-off is pretty much like. So the practice of yoga, watch this. So they got information. Now you got first thing, self-control. They call it yama. What's that? Non-violence, truthfulness, chastity, and avoidance of greed. That's how they go already. You trying to beat down the ego aspect of yourself. Because you got non-violence, controlling the ego, controlling the emotions, truthfulness, speaking and understanding heart, chastity, protecting the lower self, okay, and avoidance of greed. That's good qualities. Okay. Next one. Practice of what? Virtue. Sounds like one of mine. And virtue is what? Actions to avoid in order to maintain. They call it yama. Okay. I guess that's peace. Now you got postures. Asana, and this is to condition the body and prepare the mind, body for what? Meditation. When we hear meditation, first you think of the guy sitting in the lotus position. That's one posture. They got 26 of them for every letter of the alphabet. You got a posture, okay? But you can twist your body anyway for breathing purposes. Everything is functioning. When you got your chakras open, that means the body is functioning in harmony. Okay, the serpent done went up. You got enlightened. Now you on autopilot. Moving on. Breath control. There you go. You got to look at these guys who teach you how to breathe. Why? There's some techniques that will help you get oxygen to the brain quicker, get oxygen to the blood quicker through the breath. Understanding, controlling the breathing is controlling what? The life force. Controlling the life force is controlling what? The mind. Oxygenate in the mind to its capacity. If you breathe too much, hyperventilate, you will faint. Why? Too much oxygen, overkill. So it's a technique that you should learn. Ain't just, well, I breathe. We all breathe, inhale and exhale. It's techniques. So moving on. Now, oh yeah, almost done. Let me take this home. Let me wrap this up. Restraint. Okay. Restraint. It having self-discipline in the sense organs to what? Avoid overindulgence and physical temptations of what? The body, food, sex, drugs, etc. What I just did a lesson about addiction. This is how you avoid the addiction. When you practice restraint and self-spiritual discipline, that's how you avoid addictions. That's not good for you. Why? You practice righteous living, you avoid all that nonsense. Now, my favorite, studying, increasing the mind. Practice focusing the mind, meditating daily, and concentrating the mental rays on what? One subject over a short period of time. When you go into a meditative state, you have a focus on one thing only, and let that be the focal point. A lot of people go into chant and all that. No, the dot. Remember, I always deal with the dot. I learned from the dot. I stick with the dot. Okay, everybody got their own technique. Mine is the dot. That's what I focused on. That's the oneness. That's my concept. That's what I learned. So I just kept it in. How about this? Meditation. When the object of concentration, that dot, engulfs the entire mind, watch this, and concentration continues to be what? Spontaneous. I'm God conscious. I don't do nothing without putting God or incorporating God in what it is I do. Why? That's how I function. It's a way of life. Now, last one. Deep meditation. When you spend, oh, my favorite is a good word, samadhi. That's what my right thinkers, I want you to reach this level. Watch this. I know this. Watch this. Deep meditation is when you spend a nice amount of time in meditative state. And it is so rewarding when you come out of it. Boy, it's a trip without taking drugs. It's amazing. So when you get good at meditating and you get better, you can hit deep meditation and take it to a whole nother level. That's the key. Watch this. Samadhi, what's that? Personality which dissolves temporarily into what? The object of meditation. What you're focusing on. You become it. Now, an experience of what? Super consciousness. That's the highest level. That's it. You reach the level where you up there in the Akashic record area. You got access to any and everything you want. It's lonely up there. What? Don't many people go there. It's a level it's hard to reach. But when you do it, you become blissed out. You become at peace with oneself. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. That's what it's all about. Getting you to that level as right thinkers. Even from the Vedanta perspective. I'm coming back, but I've got some information from you from the who? The sutras. Cheetah, whatever you call it. Okay? So I'll be back, right thinkers, again, imparting. May right thinkers live to be 100, me 100 minus a day. So I never know that right thinkers like you passed away. Come like that exit. I'm out.